Shabbat Shalom, Agudis. This week we're in Parshat Tavo, and in this Parsha, we're faced with a short list of blessings should the Israelites follow the Torah and God's law, and quite a lengthy, detailed, and sometimes graphic list of curses that will come upon the people should they not follow the Torah. And this is difficult for us to take in. The list is quite painful, quite intense, not something that really turns us on as contemporary Jews to Judaism. We are trying not to operate out of fear of punishment, out of fear of retribution from God, but actually out of love, out of a appreciation and care for the Jewish tradition and God and the Jewish people. And so we're faced with this really difficult litany, but on the other side of the Torah reading, in our Haftarah from the prophet Isaiah, we're faced with kind of the opposite list of the curses in our Parsha in Deuteronomy. Instead of all of the nations coming to oppress us, to exile us, to even force us to go down again to Egypt to become slaves and servants, again, the worst punishment, the reversal for the whole purpose of the redemption out of Egypt. In Isaiah, all of that negativity is reversed. And in fact, the exile of the people from the first destruction of the first temple is reversed, and the nations come and they help the Israelites, the Jewish people, come back to their land, that they actually serve them, right? That they facilitate this amazing reverse exodus back to the land, and that they'll be planted firmly there in a kingdom of justice and righteousness that sort of spreads its light to all of the nations. And so I think these two paradigms, right? This intense curses of exile, of distance, of feeling like God is not present in your lives, and the opposite, where you feel God's redemption, where you feel that everyone is supporting your return to connection and to your heritage, is sort of what we're feeling now in the midst of Elul, as we prepare for the high holidays. On the one hand, we feel that a lot of the hopes and the dreams that we had for ourselves as we started last Rosh Hashanah have kind of faded away. Maybe some have stuck, but we feel a little bit exiled, a little bit distant from the person that we were in those last high holidays, and a little bit perhaps even disconnected from God and spirituality. On the other hand, in this month leading up to Rosh Hashanah, we have this feeling that we are being uplifted, that we're being given this new chance to reconnect spiritually, to feel that we're returning from a spiritual exile into a more steady, into a more vibrant and full Jewish life. And I think we hold both of those at this time. And I think that's why we have this contrast between our Torah reading and the Haftarah. That we know that it's possible to feel distant, that we know that it's possible to not feel rooted in our Judaism, in our spiritual tradition. But we know that when we feel that way, it's not the end. There's an opportunity there for a renewal, for an uplift, for a return that comes not just from within, but with the support of our entire community. So my prayer and blessing for us is that even as we acknowledge the truth of the feeling of spiritual exile, the feeling of spiritual hunger and emptiness, we see that that's not the end of the story, that we can move in to the redemptive vision of Isaiah, of a return to our best selves, of a return to God and to spirituality, and to feel our community holding us and cheering us on. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone.